All right, I think we're good to go. What's up, chat? Good to see you. So, I've got some videos I want to watch while I eat dinner, and then I really want to finish grinding out an achievement I was working on my day off. It's just having some fun, chill gaming, something I haven't done in a long time. I was watching other people stream and watching YouTube videos while I worked on Master Crafter in Elder Scrolls Online. And that was one of the things I was working on, but I never ended up finishing it because it just got to be too frustrating. I got everything done but one section except uh where you basically just need to buy and learn a bunch of styles so you can craft in a bunch of different styles. And that was honestly the worst part of it, even worse than doing all the actual crafting. Was running around trying to find these style pages for cheap, and it just got to be too frustrating. Last night I got to 40 out of 50, so I only have like about 10 styles left I need to learn before I am officially a master crafter. So we're gonna see if I can do that tonight before I get too tired. I've been up kind of long already, and it's been a kind of a slow day, but I'm already feeling a little bit tired. Maybe because I haven't been drinking as much coffee as normal, but hopefully getting some food and popping us will do the job. All right, I want to see the whole Legal Eagle. It's TikTok's over apparently. Let's see what Legal Eagle has to say about it.
TikTok is banned.
Oh God, it's so
loud. The Supreme
loud.
Court refuses to stay the execution of the law that, effective January 19th, forces TikTok to be sold to a U.S. company or.
It is now officially January 19th.
React to the U.S. government trying to ban TikTok over concerns that its Chinese parent company could exert too much control and provide information to the Chinese government by downloading a TikTok clone that is literally run by the Chinese government. How did we get here? Now, as you probably know, TikTok is a foreign-owned tech platform operating on American devices. Chinese technology company ByteDance launched the app in 2016. It now has over 1.5 billion active users, including about 150 million Americans. Now, many Americans make their living by making short films on the app, and TikTok's creators say that other social media platforms lack TikTok's organic reach and collaboration tools. Some have said, quote, they have posted the same content on other platforms for years, but only TikTok has fostered their communities and allowed them to reach broad audiences. Now, the people who serve in Congress generally don't grow up with social media platforms. The average age of a senator is 64, and the average age of a House member is 58. And that might be one reason members of Congress struggle with the implications of modern technology is global. But for better or worse, the government is responsible for protecting the country from foreign threats, but it also has a duty to ensure Americans have civil liberties. Now, the courts traditionally defer to the federal government in matters of national security. And along those lines, on April 20.
I have mixed feelings about the old people struggle with modern technology thing. I think it's just. I really think it's just dumb people struggle with modern technology. So if the people that run the government are struggling with modern technology, what does that say about the people we let run our government? Because I know like plenty of old dudes that have no problem with some of this modern stuff, or at least they're willing to learn. It's just. There's so much I could say about it. I'm just going to eat my pizza and listen to what Legal Eagle has to say, though.
24th, 2024, Congress enacted the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act. The law prohibits the distribution, maintenance, or provision of internet hosting services for applications controlled by foreign adversaries. The act identifies China, North Korea, Russia, and Iran as foreign adversaries of the United States who are not eligible to purchase apps. The law officially bars Americans from using apps controlled by those countries. And the law requires ByteDance specifically to sell TikTok to.
I've talked about this before, about the law, how it covers more than just TikTok. It's going to cover that red app that people are using. I mentioned China, North Korea, and Russia. I didn't think about Iran, though. I didn't know Iran was on the list.
To remove, quote, foreign adversary control, and failure to comply results in a ban within 270 to 360 days. Now, the Supreme Court generally considers laws targeting specific speech as presumptively unconstitutional. In 2020, Donald Trump issued 2 executive orders banning TikTok, but the federal courts blocked both of those. So many legal commentators felt the new law was also on shaky ground. So when this new law was passed, TikTok and a group of its users sued the government, once again arguing that the act is an unconstitutional intrusion on free speech rights. Quote, by banning all online platforms and software applications offered by TikTok and all ByteDance subsidiaries, Congress has made a law curtailing massive amounts of protected speech. Unlike broadcast television and radio stations, which require government licenses to operate because they use the public airwaves, the government cannot, consistent with the First Amendment, dictate the ownership of newspapers, websites, online platforms, and other privately created speech forums. Now, TikTok claimed that it's an American company headquartered in Culver City, California, which means it has First Amendment rights. Thus, TikTok alleged that courts should apply a legal standard called strict scrutiny. Now, when it comes to reviewing government regulation, what level of scrutiny the court applies is usually the entire ballgame. When a court applies strict scrutiny, the government must show that the law is the least restrictive means of advancing a compelling governmental interest. And that is a very, very hard standard to meet.
It's
Strict
the
scrutiny
highest,
applies
pretty
when the
much.
law regulates fundamental rights like freedom of speech. Now, normally when courts are reviewing governmental regulation, if it doesn't involve a fundamental right, the courts apply what's called rational basis review, which basically means if the court can find any rational basis for a particular law, it will uphold that law. Basically, any law that's reviewed under rational basis review is going to be upheld, and basically any law that's reviewed under strict scrutiny is not going to pass muster and then will be found to be
pretty much always.
And then there's a third option that's sort of a combination of the two. It's sort of right down the middle. It's called intermediate scrutiny. That's used when laws involve a right, but one that's not fundamental. Now, the U.S. government argued that the act doesn't implicate the First Amendment at all. The government rejected plaintiffs' assertion that TikTok is a U.S. company entitled to free speech rights because it's a subsidiary of ByteDance. And ByteDance, as a foreign company, does not receive free speech rights. But what about TikTok's American users? Well, the government claimed that the act doesn't regulate their speech at all. Americans remain free to say whatever they want on other platforms, and in fact, they would continue to be free to say whatever they wanted in a post-divestiture version of TikTok. The government argued that the court should use the rational basis test, which is the lowest level of review, and not surprisingly, the government argued for rational basis review. And as we talked about, the standard there is that the government's actions have to be rationally related to a legitimate government interest. That is an extremely, extremely low bar. The government can usually come up with a rational reason, meaning basically any reason whatsoever, that is related to a legitimate government interest, meaning basically any governmental interest at all. All the government has to do is show that there's a hypothetical connection.
It just makes shit up and they're like, okay,
This litigation went up on appeal. In TikTok versus Garland, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia upheld the constitutionality of the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act. Now, the first question for the court was what standard of review to apply. And the court said, quote, we conclude that the act implicates the First Amendment and is subject to heightened scrutiny. Whether strict scrutiny or intermediate scrutiny applies is a closer question. Relevant portions of the act are facially content neutral, but the government arguably based its content manipulation justification for the act upon the content on the platform. We think it only prudent, therefore, to assume without deciding that the higher standard applied. Now, side note, what does a court mean when it says it assumes without deciding that a certain standard applies? Well, the court is declining to rule as a matter of law that a particular standard applies, usually because the outcome of a case would be the same regardless of which standard the court used. And in something that basically never happens, the Court of Appeals ruled that the government could clear the high bar set by strict scrutiny. Part 1 of the test is whether the government has a compelling interest. And the Court of Appeals said, quote, the government offered 2 national security justifications. 1, to counter the PRC's efforts to collect great quantities of data about tens of millions of Americans, and 2, to limit the PRC's ability to manipulate content covertly on the TikTok platform. The former does not reference the content of speech or reflect disagreement with an idea or message. The court agreed with the government that China posed a, quote, hybrid commercial threat because it had adopted laws that enable it to access and use data held by Chinese companies. Now, does the U.S. have any evidence that China has leveraged these relationships to access American data? Well, it's classified, apparently.
Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be
Now,
classified?
all this was appealed to the Supreme Court, and in the government...
Did he just like edit out a sponsored segment or something? That was weird. Or was it? Or did he apply? Or was he like implying a black screen because it's classified type thing? I'm not sure.
Government's brief there, Attorney General Merrick Garland said Congress has received classified security briefings about TikTok. Theoretically, a court could have ordered the government to produce evidence from these briefings in an in-camera review, meaning a secret review, which would ensure the information was kept secret, but so far no court has asked the government to provide evidence of those briefings. So the national security threats are hypothetical. The government predicts that if the Chinese government asked TikTok to, quote, manipulate content for censorship, propaganda, or other malign purposes, TikTok would try to comply with that order. But TikTok asserted that the government's concerns about data collection were made in bad faith. America is the only member of the G7 without a federal data privacy legislation or unified approach to data governance. TikTok and many other apps
excuse me,
of data about its users, including device information, IP address, keystroke patterns, activity across devices, browsing and search history, etc., and location data. Now, this is my opinion, but if data collection is a national security threat, then maybe Congress should pass a data privacy law stopping Twitter and Facebook from collecting the same data as TikTok. You know,
I agree.
Just a thought. But the Court of Appeals saw things differently. Quote, that the act does not fully solve the data collection threat posed by the PRC does not mean it was not a step in the right direction. And the court quoted liberally from the government's brief, stating, quote, as Assistant Director of National Intelligence, Casey Blackburn explained, the PRC is the most active and persistent cyber espionage threat to the U.S. government, private sector, and critical infrastructure.
Rules for thee, but not for me. Exactly. How you doing, Ghosts of Death? Good to see you. I think pretty much all. That's a firm fucking pie there. Yeah, this is the. It's a thin, like a thin, crispy buffalo chicken pizza. It's amazing. Yeah, so it does appear that the ban's going through. Now, there was some talk where Trump said he was going to look at TikTok, excuse me, but he's not the president yet. I don't think that's until tomorrow or Tuesday. And it gets banned today. So might he roll it back? Who knows? I'm going to wait until we hear a definitive answer from him before I uninstall it. But if I don't hear anything, I'm uninstalling it by the end of the week. Because while you're still allowed to have and use TikTok, it won't be getting any new security updates or anything like that. So it'll be it would be unfortunate if someone used that to find an exploit that couldn't be patched, you know? So, especially as a content creator, for people that are just using it to view stuff, all they have to lose is like their bank accounts. But I have my whole platform to lose, you know? So it's one of those things which most of them probably have way bigger bank accounts than I do, but it's different when you've got people that listen to your message, you know? Oh, fucking ads. God damn it. I thought I saw a pineapple there and we would both report you to the Inquisition and crucify you. I mean, I love pineapple pizza too. You gotta have a good Hawaiian pizza with ham and pineapple. Go ahead and report me. See what happens. I'm gonna keep watching while I eat. Insert revving chainsaw. Come for me. You'll see what happens. Dude, no. Like, real. The only time I ever put pineapple pizza is on a Hawaiian pizza, but it's so good. I put like everything on pizza.
Its hacking program spans the globe and is larger than that of
except anchovies. Fuck anchovies. Who wants rotten ass smelling fish on their pizza? That's nasty as hell.
Every other major nation combined. The PRC has pre-positioned itself for potential cyber attacks against U.S. critical infrastructure by building out offensive weapons within that infrastructure. Consistent with that assessment, the government has found persistent PRC access in U.S. critical telecommunications.
True Mexican standoff, whatever you have in an M1 Garand. How about an AR-15?
Quote, of particular relevance to the government's first justification for the act, the PRC has engaged in extensive and years-long efforts to accumulate structured datasets, in particular on U.S. persons to support its intelligence and counterintelligence operations. So the court found that the government's two national security justifications were compelling state interests. And it's not surprising that the court deferred to the federal government's judgment about the severity of the national security threats. However, that's only the first part of the strict scrutiny test analysis. In part 2 of the test, the government has to show that the law is narrowly tailored to that interest, or that it's the least speech.
One Type 1 AK-47? Like the actual AK-47? Because real AK-47s are like impossible to get. Most of them are like 74s or 100 series or AKMs. Yeah, like you have the OG AK. That's pretty insane.
Restrictive means available to the government. But TikTok proposed.
Do you have an STG-44 though? I'm kidding. I don't have an STG-44 either.
Speech. Quote, these include disclosure or reporting requirements, the government using speech of its own to counter any alleged foreign propaganda, limiting TikTok's collection of information and contact data, and extending the ban of TikTok on government devices to.
I have it in pieces, but it can always be assembled. Nice. There was someone that tried to make a modern production model of the STG-44, and it turned out to be too expensive.
Government employees.
It's a set of wind chimes.
But
nice.
the court rejected these options, instead agreeing with the government that data collection and content manipulation are not the type of harm that can be remediated by disclosure. Traditionally, the remedy for speech we disagree with is more speech. That's a foundational aspect of the First Amendment. But here the court rejects this principle entirely. Quote, the idea that the government can simply use speech of its own to counter the risk of content manipulation by the PRC is likewise naive. The court said, quote, the petitioner's attempt to frame the use of government speech as a means of countering alleged foreign propaganda is beside the point. It is the secret manipulation of the content on TikTok, not foreign propaganda, that poses a grave threat to national security. No amount of government speech can mitigate that threat nearly as effectively as divestiture. The court also dismissed the TikTok creators' argument that the government could achieve its goals by banning TikTok from collecting the data. Quote, the data collection risks identified by the government include the PRC's ability to use TikTok for bulk collection of data and for targeted collection on individuals. But frankly, it's possible that the court is the one that misunderstands the bulk collection risks, not the TikTok creators. Lots of websites and social media platforms collect the same information about its users, and sometimes more. Again, the US does not have a comprehensive data privacy law. And
I think we need one.
The government can't monitor what TikTok does, so it would have no way of knowing whether the app complied with the data collection regulations. As a result, the court says the only option that would meet the government's goals is full divestiture. But frankly, divestiture wouldn't even stop the data collection practices either. Say, for example, that ByteDance did sell the app to somebody else. That app is still free under American law to collect all that information and sell it. That means the law is wildly under-inclusive. And the law doesn't even apply to American companies like Facebook, which arguably has worse data collection and privacy practices than TikTok does. And TikTok also argued the law is...
The big thing, though, is Facebook and Instagram are American companies, and there's no American law that says they have to give that information to the government if the government asks for it. Where there is a Chinese law that says any Chinese-owned companies need to give that information to the government if the government asks for it. So that's primarily what the concern with China owning ByteDance or ByteDance owning TikTok is, because theoretically, ByteDance doesn't have a choice to say no, whereas like Facebook and Meta can always choose to say no.
Is over-inclusive, which means...
It's funny enough, TikTok is not even Chinese. Well, TikTok is owned by a Chinese company. Yeah, yes, but it's still beholden to Chinese law is the problem. Don't get me wrong. I want TikTok to stay around. I posted a video to TikTok today. As I didn't think to talk about the TikTok ban in it. I talked about why I take Saturday off, like Saturday, Friday night, and Saturday morning off. But I do want TikTok to stay. I'm just talking about the reasons why people consider it to be a national security threat. Now, it's worth noting that absolutely it's kind of a double standard, because I also believe on some level, Facebook and all the data they take is a national security threat as well. So I think we absolutely need some type of umbrella data protection law that we don't have right now. But considering that China is our largest, most technically advanced, most economically solvent adversary, I feel like it's a good idea to divest TikTok. I want TikTok to exist, but I don't think it's necessarily a good idea for it to be owned by a Chinese company. I think if it were really so here's the thing. If TikTok isn't even Chinese, why won't they just sell it, divest it? And they said the reason why they won't do it is because the Chinese government won't let them. So that kind of falls flat on its face.
Means it includes more people and entities than it needs to achieve the law's purpose. The act applies to, quote, another ByteDance product, CapCut, that can be used to edit videos on various platforms, including TikTok, but does not collect user data or present an opportunity for PRC manipulation of content. But the Court of Appeals concluded that everything related to ByteDance is...
I didn't even know that CapCut was a ByteDance owned product. I installed it for a while, but I didn't end up using it because it puts a watermark on all the video that you edit. I use something called VM or VN or something like that. It's way, way better than CapCut is.
Theoretically just as harmful as TikTok. And as for TikTok's free speech argument, the court said that the government is actually furthering free speech rather than hindering it. A foreign government threatens to distort free speech on an important medium of communication. Using its hybrid commercial strategy, the PRC has positioned itself to manipulate public discourse on TikTok in order to serve its own ends. The PRC's ability to...
The only government's allowed to manipulate public discourse is our own, like with Facebook.
From exercising comparable control over a social media company
and Twitter, like it used to be. Although they're manipulating free speech again on Twitter.
TikTok. Understood in that way, the act actually vindicates the values that undergird the First Amendment. But I guess at least the court acknowledged that...
Again, rules for thee, but not for me, always.
Quote, in fact, the government...
Bro, the very people that made all these anti-pedophile laws are the ones that get caught on planes going to Epstein Island. They're not making these laws for them to follow. They're making these laws for other people.
Identifies a particular topic, Taiwan's relationship to the PRC, as a significant potential flashpoint that may be a subject of the PRC's...
They have insider trading laws, but if you Nancy Pelosi, that's who it is. People follow Nancy Pelosi just to see what stock trades she does, because they know she's insider trading and she always wins in the stock market. But yet she never gets brought up on charges because she's the one that makes the laws, so she's above them.
Influence operations, and its declarants identify other topics of importance to the PRC. And yet the court agreed with the government that, quote, the act is not an effort to control the flow of ideas to the public. But TikTok lost in the Court of Appeals and then appealed to the Supreme Court. The justices agreed to fast-track the briefing and held arguments on January 10th, 9 days before the law was set to go into effect. See, when the Supreme Court wants to fast-track something like a private business interest, they can. But it's good that they took 2 years to decide US versus Trump, because that obviously wasn't as important as a dance app. Now, obviously, if you want a social media network, you'll want a good lawyer. But if you want a great lawyer, my law firm, the Eagle Team, can help. If you've gotten in a car crash, suffered a...
I want to get the rest of it. When I get the Supreme pizza, I get 2 meals out of it. But because this buffalo chicken pizza is thin crust, I literally just eat the whole pizza in one sitting. I'm a fat ass. But also, this is really the only meal. I generally eat like a breakfast sandwich, and then I have one meal in the middle of the day, And before I fall asleep, I'll have like a frozen burrito or something like that. Not even a full meal for the last thing. All right. Let me get the other pizza. The rest of the pizza. I'll be right back. We have a saying here in Poland. There are people that are equal and ones that are more equal than others. Yeah. I very much relate to that. It's so true here. So I've been going through notes that I recorded for like years. I used to use a note called Evernote. I used to use an app called Evernote. Wow, I fucked that sentence up. But recently they went from just being like chill to like spamming you with constant pop-ups that are forcing you to like pay money to use it. And they reduced, it used to be like basically free to use with paid subscription options, but now you can't use it unless you pay money for it. I can still access the old notes. So what I've been doing is I've been copy pasting them one at a time from that app to another one. I've done it like 4 days now. Well, like over 1,000 notes I had to go through. I think I've only got 200 left at this point, but like about 500 to 600 of those were songs I've been working on, and not all of them are full songs. So a lot of those are just like 2 to 6 lines that I wrote down that popped into my head. I was like, hey, this is awesome. But one of the songs that I think I have like a verse written so far. Eventually, I'm gonna go through. Once I get them all off the shit app, I'm gonna go through and try and combine them and be like, let's see. Well, these 10 notes I can combine into one and get a full song from it, right? But one of the songs I have, it's talking about how like we like, you know, in Great Britain and stuff, they have like the royal family and stuff. It's talking about how here in America we do have royalty. It's just different. Like the Clintons are our royalty. P Diddy is our royalty, you know? Hold on, there's an update. I want to read players. Hmm. They added Discord integrations to the Star Wars RPG I use.
Or dealing with a workers' comp or social security issue, we can represent you or help find you the right attorney. Because it's so important to talk to a lawyer right away so you can maximize your recovery. And by the way, we don't get paid unless you do, so there's nothing up front. So just click on the link in the description or call the phone number on screen for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle team. And now the Supreme Court has upheld the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act.
Oh, they upheld it. Okay.
Will be banned in the U.S. on Sunday. The court ruled that
Which
the US
it's now
has a
Sunday.
compelling interest in protecting sensitive user data from potential misuse by foreign adversaries, particularly the Chinese government. TikTok apparently poses a significant risk to American citizens because of ByteDance's ties to China, which could enable unauthorized access to personal data of U.S. users. The Supreme Court ruled, quote, "There's no doubt that for more than 170 million Americans, TikTok offers a distinctive and expansive outlet for expression, means of engagement, and source of community. But Congress has determined that divestiture is necessary to address its well-supported national security concerns regarding TikTok's data collection practices in relationship with a foreign adversary." For the foregoing reasons, we conclude that the challenge provisions do not violate petitioners' First Amendment rights. Now, the first takeaway from this opinion is that the court found that the act was a content-neutral restriction. A restriction is content-based if it regulates speech because of the subject matter, idea, or message being conveyed.
Yeah, like if it had said, well, you can't have 13-year-olds doing sexy dances on TikTok, then they would say, well, that's a limitation of free speech, so it's allowed, ironically. Which is why Facebook has so much softcore child porn on it.
Several U.S. lawmakers expressed concerns about Chinese propaganda when they drafted the act. However, the court did not consider evidence suggesting that the act targeted certain viewpoints. Quote, "We are especially wary of parsing Congress's motives on this record with regard to an act passed with striking bipartisan support." Now, bipartisan legislation is rare, but that doesn't say anything about whether something is constitutional or not. Now, the court ruled that the government, quote, "had a content-neutral justification for the act," quote, "preventing China from collecting vast amounts of sensitive data from 170 million U.S. TikTok users." Now, content-neutral laws are generally subject to intermediate scrutiny, which, as we discussed, is less rigorous than strict scrutiny. And just like the D.C. Circuit, the Supreme Court, quote, "assumed without deciding that the challenge provisions fall within this category and are subject to First Amendment scrutiny." So they engage in a First Amendment analysis, just not strict scrutiny, because they claim it's content neutral. Now, the second takeaway from the court's opinion is that the act apparently balanced the government's national security interest with petitioners' First Amendment rights. Quote, "The act's prohibitions and divestiture requirements are designed to prevent China, a designated foreign adversary, from leveraging its control over ByteDance Limited to capture the personal data of U.S. TikTok users. This objective qualifies as an important government interest under intermediate scrutiny." Now, how does the act protect the First Amendment rights of the petitioners, including TikTok and Americans who use the app? Well, as to the company's rights, it doesn't impose an outright ban, meaning the company can still operate in the U.S. if it satisfies the conditional divestiture requirement, meaning its parent company has to divest. And as for TikTok users, the act does not prevent users from expressing their ideas through other platforms or means. It targets the operational structure of TikTok, not the ability of users to create and share content. And if TikTok is no longer available, users can post the same content to other platforms. I am not saying I agree with it, I am saying that's what the court's rationale was. The Supreme Court took the government's security rationale seriously, apparently more seriously than President Biden or incoming President Trump, which we will discuss. The court deferred to Congress's determination.
Yeah, I want to hear that last part too.
Often requires legislators to forecast.
I still have the app installed. I haven't uninstalled it yet. I'm talking over. I still have the app installed, but I will uninstall it if it becomes clear that the ban isn't going to get reversed, because I don't want a potential security risk on my phone, which is what it will turn into once it stops receiving updates.
To Congress's determination that the threat was real. Quote, "Sound policymaking often requires legislators to forecast future events and to anticipate the likely impact of these events based on deductions and inferences for which complete empirical support may be unavailable." And here, apparently, the government's TikTok-related data collection concerns in isolation. The record reflected that China, quote, "has engaged in extensive and years-long efforts to accumulate structured data sets, in particular on U.S. persons, to support its intelligence and counterintelligence operations." And the court believed Congress when it said China is gathering information on U.S. users for nefarious purposes. The government cited Chinese law, which compels companies to turn over information if China demands it, as proof that TikTok posed serious dangers. Now, other applications also hoover up large swaths of American user data, but the court said this case should not be interpreted as limiting what those apps can do with your data. Quote, "While we find that differential treatment was justified here, however, we emphasize the inherent narrowness of our holding. Data collection and analysis is a common practice in this digital age, but TikTok's scale and susceptibility to foreign adversary control, together with the vast swaths of sensitive data the platform collects, justify differential treatment to address the government's national security concerns." Now, the government made bold claims about the Chinese government's ability to control messages on the app by manipulating the TikTok algorithm, but the Supreme Court sidestepped that issue. Quote, "The record before us adequately supports the conclusion that Congress would have passed the challenge provisions based on the data collection justification alone." So that's it. The law goes into effect. But what happens now? Well, President Biden has the power to grant extensions under the act if certain requirements are met, but instead Biden has just announced that he will just not enforce the law, which is cool. I didn't know a president could do that, because of the whole...
I mean, I said this the other day, that a president could do that. I don't know how you don't know a president could do that, because, I mean, he's going to say why he thinks, but... So, presidents, the way it works here in the United States is we have three branches. We have the judicial branch, the legislative branch, and the executive branch. It's the legislative branch to write the laws. It's the judicial branches. It's the legislative branch's job. I can't talk. Why the fuck can't I talk? It's the legislative branch's job to write the laws. It's the judicial branch's job. Why am I struggling? To decide whether or not the laws are constitutional and sometimes what specifically the laws mean. And it's the executive branches, which is the president, executive branch's job to enforce the laws. So the executive branch often gets to decide how those laws are enforced, and sometimes that comes down to not really enforcing them at all. Also, there are hundreds of laws on the books that are no longer enforced. I think so there are requirements that the president does have to do his job, right? But because there's often a wide swath of leeway as to how he gets to and choose to enforce the law. So can he just straight up say, no, I'm not going to enforce the law? No, probably not. But he can probably find ways around it. Also, even if he can't say that, considering that Biden literally has 2 days left, I can see why he wouldn't give a fuck, because what are they going to do? Impeach him and kick him out of office on his last 2 days? Oh, whoopee. Let's see what Legal Eagle has to say about it, though. Yeah. U.S. Constitution, Article 3, subsection, Article 2, subsection 2.
The president to faithfully execute the laws of this country? But President Hot Dog Man, who signed the bill into law, says that he will not impose any fines on TikTok during the last few days of his presidency, and will just let incoming President Trump deal with it. So fun. Which is odd, because the entire rationale for the law is that this is about dire national security concerns. Now, Trump has indicated that he will also sign an executive order that also refuses to enforce this law. But again, generally speaking, the president doesn't have the authority to just not enforce valid laws that have been passed.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. What even are laws? Like many of you, I probably spend way too much time on TikTok, time that I'd rather spend learning new things and getting the same gratification that I get.
And now's when you hawk Nebula, right?
Which is why even before the TikTok ban, I've been using an app that actually improves my understanding of practical human psychology, economics, philosophy, and history.
Oh no, it's a different app.
I'm actually deeply passionate about. The app is called Imprint, and they were kind enough to sponsor us without.
But well, it's now when you hawk something. All right, so it looks like even though the ban went through, it's gonna stick around for a minute. So, because both Biden and Trump said they were in favor of it, and it's funny because Trump tried to ban it, but then he said the reason it's sticking around is because he got more votes than pretty much any other Republican candidate in history. And a lot of that came from young people, and he thinks TikTok had something to do with that. So if you guys think that like maybe Trump is just trying to fight for your free speech or something, it's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with the fact that the app gave him power and he benefited from it, and all he really cares about is power.
Trump just launched a meme coin. Welcome back to the Void. This is not how I wanted
And money, which is why he lost the meme coin. I want to hear this.
This is not how I wanted to start my 2025. Let me tell you that right now. Here's the tweet. My new Donald Trump official meme is here. It's time to celebrate everything we stand for. Winning. Join my very special Trump community. Get your Trump now.
This is insane.
GetTrumpMemes.com. When you go there, you join the Trump meme, which is buying something, and hoping it goes up in value. Currently, that stands at a 13 billion dollar market cap.
What?
Matters, which you know is great. I think that's cool. I think that's awesome. In addition, $12 million has been made in fees already just on the trading volume, which is over $1 billion so far.
That's insane.
I think that's even better. I'm joking. I don't even know. I'm speechless, actually. I don't know what to say. It's historic in its stupidity. It's grift. The level of
It's historic in its stupidity.
The days before your presidency, your inauguration, to use that as a hype project for the meme. Like, did this guy want to do the presidency the second time, or was this the meme coin hype plan?
It's brilliant in one of the most
Understand.
evil ways possible.
We are 2 days away from an inauguration. I mean, should he be writing a speech? He's launching.
No, it's just get someone to write it for it.
That's the start of it. That's the start of the grift. Then you have to.
Or he'll just get up there and talk out of his ass like he does. Probably a little bit of both. He's gonna pay someone to write him the speech, and then he's gonna get up there and says whatever he wants to say anyways.
That the Trump meme coin, which has no value, no intrinsic value, 80% is owned by the Trump camp.
Of course.
Only 20% goes to the public. 10% went to the liquidity pool, and 10% went to the public allocation. Here's the rest of it. This is their website, gettrumpmemes.com. And yes, I've thought at first this was a hack. I was like, there's no way this could be true. They also have a, Donald Trump Truth Social post about it. Phantom Wallet has, verified it. I hope to everything that I will wake up and find I've been deepfaked. Let me just say this is wrong, and this is just sort of an initial reaction thing. I will do a follow-up if there's more details that come out. I mean, it seems like a straightforward grift to me, but I hope that I'm wrong. But at least at first glance, it appears to be what it is. It looks like it, which is a former president about to be president using the hype of their campaign to launch. I mean, it's so insane. I mean, it's funny in its insanity, but it's also gross in how cynical it really is. I mean, you have to understand, most of the people who actually buy this, like sincerely buy this, are like diehard DGen crypto heads who might make some money because they spend all day on Dex Screener looking for coins, and they caught this at 100K, or they caught this at 10 million, and now it's 13 billion, right? They're going to make money.
Yeah. Most
people who this is actually targeted at, which is normies, who go, what's a Solana? What? I just learned about what Bitcoin was. What's a smart contract? Can I buy it with a credit card? Like, the people buying this with a credit card? Roasted, dude. Game over. Obliterated. You're gone. You're done. You're never gonna. And then, by the way, of course, the third group, besides the snipers, the people, the degens who are looking for this, who are going to make money, the public's going to get wrecked, and then the other people are going to make money, is obviously the people who are going to make the most money are the insiders.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, the part of the Trump camp that knew this was coming out, knew the contract address, who got it.
Yeah.
Right when
it's crazy how it just dropped out of nowhere, right? People definitely knew.
Who are going to make money are the insiders who are going to get the rest of this 80%. So basically, Trump launched this through CIC Digital, who I think he launched his other NFTs with. According to this article by ABC, CIC Digital is fully owned by the Donald Trump Revocable Trust. So it's kind of unclear exactly, like, is he getting paid a licensing deal for this? Is he just one of the guys? It's not that clear. But
I don't think politicians
I think that's kind of
should be allowed to own businesses.
Here's the creators, here's the allocation. So,
or have stocks or anything like that. If you want to run the country, you need to sell everything you have.
Creators in CIC Digital 1, CIC Digital 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. That's all the description we get, at least on this page. And you can see that they're not locked up at the start. They have a 3.
But at the same time, like, you should get completely taken care of, right? If you want to be in government, you should need to sell all of your property, all maybe allowed to keep one house, you know, like your primary residence. Sell all of your commercial property. Sell all of your stocks and businesses, and probably all your investments in gold and stuff like that too. But the government should take care of you. You should never need to worry about a thing. So that's really the only way to prevent, one, people from making laws that benefit themselves. Because if you like don't have any businesses, you aren't going to make laws that benefit one business or one industry over the others. And two, it reduces the chance of people being influenced, because there's less of a chance of bribes and less of a chance of someone holding something over your head because you need it to survive. If the government just gives you everything you need, if you work for the government, then it would be far less corrupt.
To 12-month lockup duration, depending on the group. And basically, they unlock over 24 months. That's the punchline. So over 3 years, all of this will be unlocked. This token will be diluted by the rest of that 80%. What I think is so cynical about this is that it's going to fully vest during the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's no way that they're not going to get millions of dollars out of this. They're going to extract so much value from the Trump base and degens, of course, but it's insane. It's like going to be the historic grift. I honestly can't believe it. I'm like waiting for someone. Is somebody going to stop this? Like, is this allowed? But yeah, no, it's insane. I mean, how could this not, like, how do you expect people to lose interest in a coin when the guy is running the free world?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not an endorsement, because the coin is going to be sold by insiders. But it's like, I saw a tweet that I was just like, yes. Somebody goes, crime is legal. I kind of felt about that. I was like, that's how it feels right now. To say it's a conflict of interest is like, you know,
the understatement of the year.
Conflicts of interest before. It's so crazy to use the presidency in this manner to pump a meme coin to enrich yourself, insiders, and basically everyone but your standard base, right? Because the standard Trump guy and girl, they aren't like crypto people. You know, maybe a little bit, like a part of his base.
A small portion, yeah.
Because of this new crypto turnaround he's done.
Well, I'd say there's a small portion that were pro-Trumpers, that were crypto guys, just because they were like finance bros, like the red pill finance bro type. They would have probably already been into crypto, and a lot of those guys like Trump. But most of the MAGA wearing hat people, those guys aren't really super big into crypto. But I'm sure more of them are getting into it. But I said this last time. Last time he got elected president, I was kind of naive back then. I didn't think he could possibly win. Because, you know who Donald Trump is to me? He's the failed businessman that had a TV show where he told people how to run a business, even though 15 or like something like that, I think 13 it was, of his businesses went into bankruptcy. It's just, he was a fucking joke. Like, what was that show, The Apprentice or whatever? It was just, he was just a meme, a social, a reality TV show star that failed at life, so he went to go make reality TV, and now he's our fucking president. I didn't believe people were actually so stupid that they would vote for him the first time around. But ever since then, nothing has surprised me. But I said the first time he got to be president that he's the greatest con man that ever lived. And I think this whole meme coin, as he's going into the presidency, absolutely proves that.
Last few years. But besides those people who've already gotten the coin, before you watch this thing, they already got the coin. It's a disaster. It's a disaster for most of his supporters. And that's what is like the grossest.
And that's the thing with like not just crypto, but stocks as well, right? If you see a post on Reddit that's telling you buy this stock before it blows up, it's already too late, you know? The people that made that post have already bought into it, and they want other people to get in to pump it even higher before they dump. It's one of those things where if you're hearing about it, it's too late to get on the gravy train.
Part of this whole thing is like, it's not, you're not only doing the world dirty, your own fans are gonna get wrecked on this.
That's what always happens with crypto meme coins.
Like, we make no promises.
Now, to be fair, I do think cryptocurrency is the wave of the future, especially when it comes to global economies and just moving away from physical money and stuff like that. But it's not meme coins. It's going to be something like Ethereum, which is why if I ever have money to invest in crypto again, almost all of it's going into Ethereum. I will probably release my own cryptocurrency eventually, but it's more just for fun. I want to code it myself. I want to learn the ins and outs of cryptocurrency so that I can be more informed. But that's one of those 5-year plan type things. Who knows? Maybe Trump will probably like nuke North Korea and end the world before then. Who knows?
The Trump meme will increase in value or maintain the same value you paid as the amount you paid to purchase same. So
what does that mean?
Nice.
Purchase
so
same?
Thrown together last minute, guys. Last minute to take advantage of this incoming inauguration of the president of the free world. The Trump meme website states that it is not political and has nothing to do with any political campaign or political office or government agency.
Except the presidency? The most important political government office?
I think they're going to backtrack on this one. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, there's no way they fully embrace this. It's too insane. They're going to pretend that they weren't like behind this. They're going to I don't know what they're going to do actually. I don't know. Every time I think it's like it's gone too far, it's like it's so insane because Trump was like, you know, doing this whole crypto thing. I know people are going to say, oh, he's been in crypto for a little bit. He was still pretending to be like on the sort of like, oh, we're trying to be utility side of things. He was doing like NFTs for the art, you know. You remember the AI generated, or it looks like
I do want to do NFTs as well, but I want to find an actual purpose for them.
And then he did the whole.
I love all this Web3 technology, but I hate to see the way it's used have a negative impact. I think it's really cool technology that's highly secure, but it just gets used to scam people, and that breaks my heart.
called Liberty Financial, where they were going to do a fork of Aave. They were just at least saying that it was going to have utility, even if there wasn't any. What I find interesting about this is like it's just you can't even pretend that this is doing something. The distribution.
One of the coolest projects I've seen that had to do with cryptocurrency so far. It ended up flopping as far as I'm aware, but basically it was a Spotify that would pay artists automatically using smart contracts whenever someone listened to your song. So like instead of like having to wait for Spotify to send you a check and argue with them about whether or not they were fake streams or blah blah blah, or like have your record label take all the money and then not send you any of it. You would and artists that were on this platform, they would just immediately get cryptocurrency sent to their wallet as soon as one of their songs played, because it was all built in to the smart contract, which basically what that means is he's talking about like the fees and stuff in this coin. The way lots of cryptos work, the more advanced cryptos, is they're not just a coin like real money. It's an actual smart contract where something happens and it triggers other things, or you can use them to vote. And the technology is so deep, I've barely scratched the surface of it. I think it's really cool. And the coolest thing I ever saw so far, especially being someone that's interested in trying to release my own music soon, I thought the idea of a Spotify that automatically pays artists through crypto anytime anyone listens to one of your songs was brilliant. And I don't know what happened to that project, but I think it failed, and I'm sad to hear that.
Also, you have to understand, guys, I know some of you who watch this maybe aren't crypto people. This distribution is like insane. The crypto people are going to get behind this because they're sycophants who want to suck up so that the government is going to help them, because they've been like, kicked by the government for a while. So they're just going to suck up to power because they need...
That didn't even occur to me, yeah, because so most governments hate crypto because they can't control it, which is one of the reasons I love crypto so much. But if the president himself is getting into crypto and his crypto does really well, he'll be more likely to support and protect crypto if the Congress tries to go against it. So that's something that didn't even occur to me. Good point, Coffee has.
On their side. So you'll see a lot of crypto people be like, oh, 80%, that's fine. That's not normal. It's not.
No.
Maybe for like a layer 1 token where there's going to be like a ton of development work, then monetizing the back end supports development work for years to come. This is a meme coin. There's no development work to be done after this. It's done. They're just rent-seeking 80% of the value of this thing. And it's a zero-sum game. So think about it. It's a zero-sum game where the last person holding the dollar loses, and they're taking 80% of the value. Need I say more? For no reason. For no reason. There's not a justification like, hey guys, we're going to like develop it for years. No. They're not even pretending to have a development plan in place.
Yeah, it just seems like
they were pretending. They had they were like, oh, we're going to develop this for years to come. Just kidding. Let's launch on Solana. All right. Well, look, I'll probably follow up about this later. I'm tired for a lot of reasons, but
yeah, this is one of those things that makes your soul tired.
What a start to the year. I don't know, man.
Yeah, 2025 has been insane already.
Just reset this. Insane. Like I said, I hope it turns out I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. My final question, which I just don't have answered, is just who these groups are, the creators and CIC Digital. If I had to guess, The guys who are going to unlock first, which means after 3 months, are going to be the Trump, like the closest inner circle.
Yes.
And then everyone will unlock after that. You can expect that the price of Trump coin is going to catastrophically fall once that unlock starts to happen. All right, that's basically it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to end this. It's gonna be a long year.
The coin's just gonna nosedive after 3 months. So if you're a gambler, I'm not, by the way. I do take calculated risks, but I'm not a gambler. If you're a gambler and you want to get in on the Trump coin, sell before that 3-month mark hits. Because if you don't, you're gonna lose 50% of everything probably. And then if you're still around 6 months during the second unlock, it's never gonna recover from that. I need a coffee. And then I'm gonna get funny that I need a coffee after listening to CoffeeZilla. And then I'm gonna get into ESO after that. I don't want to watch any more videos today. We'll leave that up there just so if anyone pops in, they think I'm gonna do something and put a pretty but evil face there to distract them. I'm going to go make a coffee and I will be right back and we'll get into ESO. I will do one of the long breaks in the meantime so we can have the longest uninterrupted content without ads getting in the way. I need to find my coffee mug. I'm tired. I was thinking, maybe I kind of do keep watching the videos because the ow, my nose. The that was right in the face. The running around buying stuff on ESO isn't exactly gonna be the most engaging content. Where do I put it though? I need one more screen. I don't have enough computer screens. Cause I need this. I mean, I guess I can drag this screen over here. But no, I kind of need both. And the thing is, normally, when I'm doing low, like this kind of low interest Elder Scrolls Online stuff, I can just talk about whatever's on my brain. But what's going to be on my brain is just boring math stuff or searching the same crafting motif over and over again. So I can talk about what we're doing for a bit first, but then it's just going to be literally I need to buy like 100 crafting motifs because it's like I still have 10 total books I need to get, and generally buying the books themselves are insanely expensive. So the way to do it is to buy each of the individual pages. And there's like 10 pages per book. This is my crafter, right? He's the guy we're going for the achievement on. We're going for the Master Crafter achievement, which requires a bunch of different crafting achievements to obtain. This was kind of the last thing. Also, my all of my add-ons are fucked because my add-on manager doesn't work anymore. I can't get my add-on manager to work, and I haven't cared to figure out why. It hasn't been worth the effort yet. So what we're going for here is Grand Master Crafter. Do we? Oh, I mean, we can probably do that one at some point too. We just don't have the max level of that. We'll get that over time because what I used to do a lot of harvesting mats during the Sunday stream. And that's probably where most of that came from. But what we're actually going for is this one, which we need Professions Master. Let's just look at all these. So, Professions Master is... It's not going to tell us. Is it not under crafting? Unsurpassed Crafter, which I believe that one. So Professions Master probably means we have max level in all of the professions. Unsurpassed Crafter means that we've done like 100 Master Crafter writs or something like that, I'm pretty sure. Trait Master is we know all the traits for all the pieces of armor and weapons. Jewelry Trait Master is the same thing for trait. Learn Nordhoned trait is... Nordhoned is pretty much the best trait for damage, especially in PvP. Recipe Compendium, I guess we know a certain number of recipes for food and stuff. Potency, that's gonna be probably for enchantment the same thing. and botanist is going to be the same thing for alchemy. And the one we're still working on is this true style master. And if we go and sit there, hey kitty. Collect and learn 50 full motifs, which is insane. We're at 41 out of 50. Some of these are really expensive. Glass, that's a really expensive one. We've found the staves, but they're a lot of gold for each type. What else was really expensive? Ebony is also a pretty expensive one, I think. Ebonheart Pact is not that expensive. It is on the short list of ones that we might buy, but I'm trying to find cheaper ones. The one we just did, the last one we did last night was Draugr. That was pretty cheap. But let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 times 9, because we have 41. That's, my brain's too tired to do that. I'm gonna use the calculator. 126. I need 126 different pages. I don't know if I can just talk about searching pages the entire time. Hey kitty. Alright, but so I may end up needing to do videos. I mean, I guess maybe I just show the whole process. I don't know how engaging that'll be. If you guys want to talk about something in chat, please bring that up. I need to get this done for my own personal. I've wanted to do this for years, like ever since I stopped streaming ESO. So it's been like 3 years that I've wanted to do this, get this on my crafter. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. My brain is fried. So the way I've been doing it so far is I go and I look at the hats, and I've been searching using Tamriel Trade Center. Let me get the basic. Can I type? There we go. This is basically like the market browser. It will search pretty much all of the known hosts for player vendors. Now, the way it does this is by players who have the app installed, the mod installed, feeding data into the system. And I really wish I had the mods working, but I don't. So I don't think we're actually, because the problem is no matter how many times I uninstall it and reinstall it, I can't get Minion, my add-on manager, to work. It just won't open. You know what? Maybe we troubleshoot this right now. So Minion add-on manager won't open. Alright. I'm unable to fully lost Minion. When I try to start the UI, I will not pop up. When I look at Task Manager, I notice that it has an open process in the background process. Oh, so one of the issues potentially is that people have tried to switch to 64-bit from 32-bit to 30, from 64 to 32-bit. I'm looking right now to see. I don't see anything. All right, so let's just uninstall it first. Oh, great. Discord's doing that thing. Discord will often bug out where it just starts using hotkeys that aren't my hotkeys to mute. I don't get it. I think I just need to wipe my PC and do a clean OS install. I don't want to do that. That would mean I'd be down for days. Alright. So uninstall Minion. Do you want to completely remove Minion and all of its components? Yes. Do you want to delete Minion configuration directory? Yes. Minion was successfully removed from your... Awesome. Hopefully I have a list somewhere. I think I still have a command that said, I don't know if it's been updated, but there it is. Look at that. I do. Cool. So I at least have the list. Let's try getting a new... Hey, kitty. I know you want me to just do nothing but sit here and pet you all day. But if I do that, then we just... Ugh. We won't ever get out of this place, cat, if I do that. Alright. So... Let's try the 32-bit version and see if that fixes our problems. Because normally we do the 64-bit. It's gonna take a minute to do the download. Hey, kitty. I don't know why my nose is so runny today. It's been like that all day. I doubt I'm sick. I know that there's been something going around, but I don't ever leave the house. So it's probably not anything to do with that. This will install Minion. Do you wish to continue? Yes. Sure. I should probably close ESO. My ping is 200. That is insane. Watch, all I need to do is switch to the 32-bit version and it's gonna work. There it goes! That's awesome. Cool. Agree. I haven't played WoW in forever, but sure, in case I ever do. Scan the following drives for supported games. Yeah, we'll scan all of them. I don't care. Might take a minute. As long as it finds the ESO add-ons already, that would be nice. I don't want to have to reinstall and do it manually. I'll probably need to do it manually. I think I need to do it manually because there's a Steam folder. There we go. Yep, I'm gonna have to do it manually. So... let me find it. I need to go through Steam. It only finds it automatically if... It's not through Steam. Installed files. Browse. Okay, so it is on. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. It's on Fastboy. I should have known better because it's gaming. Fastboy. Steam library. Steam apps. Common. ZOS. Elder Scrolls Online, probably. Not the app. Game. Client. Nope. Maybe it is app. Contents. Resources. No. Ooh. It's not going to be logs. I don't know why I clicked that. What if I just pick this folder? Is it going to find it then? Nope. Do I need to make a new add-on folder? Let's look at the regular folders. Like this, the one that Steam opened, and see if I can find it from here. It looks like the game itself is under just game. Like the game name, not game app. I need to find the add-on folder. Alright, let me do some more Googling. Minion ESO Steam. Give me exactly what I need. Alright. Elder Scrolls Online Live? I don't know. This is old, isn't it? I don't know if they create a live folder anymore. 2018, updated 2022. So, okay, we'll look though. Documents, Elder Scrolls Online. It's not even. Oh, it's not in the game files itself. It's in like the app data stuff. I see. Yeah. Okay. That's totally different. Let's see if I can find that. So that's going to be on local disk C. Users. Documents. Except it doesn't exist. Okay. Following their path takes me to a documents folder that only has one thing in it. But I can find Elder Scrolls Online live add-ons going through a different path. So let me try and do that. All right. Since it kind of does dox me a little bit, I'm going to drag it over real quick. But Documents, ESO, live, add-ons, select folder. Okay. I selected the folder. Is it gonna work? Use dark theme. But it's not working. All right, Kitty, what's going on here? Documents, ESO, live, add-ons, select folder. And it just goes back to this. Documents, ESO, live, add-ons, they're all there. Select folder. What if I delete them? Then that means it's going to undo all my settings, so. I'm just going to reset all the resets. I'm going to close minion. And reopen it and see if that fixes it. It's not going to find them. It's not going to find them. Alright, we're just going to manually find it ourselves. Running as an admin solved it. Okay. Running as an admin causes it to crash for me. Oh, I had to get it. I had to set it to run as an administrator in its properties. Okay. So now we're getting deep into the weeds. So first we got to kill minion because it's not working. End task. Alright. So compatibility. No, it's security, I think. Wait, let me just properties. There we go. I don't remember where to set to run as admin. Run this program as an administrator. Okay. Alright, now. There it goes. Oh, finally. All right. Options. Documents. ESO. Live. Add-ons. Select folder. They should be there. Well, let's change some of these settings now. Done. Close. Okay. Sure. We'll let it scan for ESO. We'll let it scan those drives. See if it actually finds the folder this time on its own. Okay, it didn't. But if we can just point it to the folder and it actually loads them, that would be huge. And it's not working again. Oh, it didn't do the run as administrator thing, so maybe that's why. Alright. We're just gonna unselect those and we're gonna do it by ourselves. Documents. ESO, live, add-ons, select folder. Alright. See, this is such an old thread. That's an even older thread. Here we go. Oh, that's Steam Deck. I don't know about that. I think this might be the same thread. Except I can't though. Alright, so let's try downloading the 64-bit version. Since the 32-bit version doesn't want to work at all. There's no uninstall option. I think maybe I uninstalled it from here last time. Kitty. Not even showing up. I still have X Defiant installed? What the fuck? I'm gonna uninstall that. I heard they closed the game, right? Left Skull and Bone installed. Dude, try to uninstall X Defiant was a bad idea. It opened Ubisoft Connect. I'm dealing with that bullshit. We're gonna uninstall that. And it's gotta. Why does it have to update Ubisoft Connect just to uninstall a fucking game? This is. Ubisoft is the worst of the PC game clients. And I can't uninstall anything else while I'm waiting for Ubisoft to do their shit. I have to log into Ubisoft to uninstall a game. That's such bullshit. Alright, I don't see... I actually don't see it installed. So maybe it didn't install right and that's why it's not working. We are going to install the... We're going to download the 64-bit version. And try installing this. We're not going to launch it yet. First, we're going to find it. We're going to open file location. Properties. Oh, this is just a shortcut. I want the actual location. Why does it just show me a shortcut to it? Let me try it this way. Will it show up if I try to uninstall it now? Nope. I don't know whether it's my computer that's fucked or whether it's Minion that's fucked. Probably both. I'm installing a video editing web service. Video editing software that I don't use anymore. That I just saw was there. This is a bit frustrating. Alright. The whole reason is I want to use... This is going to be the one time where I end up searching the most number of various guild stores. And I want to add data for people when I do that. But it's probably... Oh. It will automatically update itself? Well, that's easy. Cool. As long as TTC updates itself and I don't need to worry about Minion, well, then we're Gucci. Alright. I feel dumb now. All I had to do was get the app to update itself, and that would save 20 minutes. The rest of my add-ons are still going to be borked, but at least we'll be contributing to the database of items. Alright, I should probably get some music on in the background since we're not playing a video. I might play a video. But I want to at least show the process that we have to go through first. Alright. Yes, I know all of my add-ons are borked. Is it giving me the TTC? Alright. Doesn't matter. Let's talk to a guild store and see if it'll scan it. Scan all listings. Check chat box for progress. Okay. Alright. So it's working. We can contribute to the data. We will scan every store we go to help people out. Because if it wasn't for people scanning pages, we wouldn't be able to find the stuff we're looking for either. I don't know how many pages there are. In the meantime, I can look in the website to find something else. Well, wait. No, I gotta wait because I need to look at my... I need to look at my collections to see what's next. Was I on N already? There's no way I was on N already. I guess maybe I was. I thought the last thing I did was Jogger, but it looks like the last thing I searched was New Moon Priest, unless maybe I already had some New Moon Priest stuff done. This is a big guild, apparently. How many pages on average are we gonna have? 50? I feel like Is that it? Task ended. Yes. Okay. Confirm. About 30. I was gonna say 30, and then I was like, if I say 30, it's gonna be 50. So maybe if I say 50, it'll be 30, and my plan worked. All right. So we need to look at what we need next. So I did Draugr. That's DRA. Ground Manor. Yeah, maybe we are on N, because I did all these. Yeah, we're definitely on N. Alright, so New Moon was the last thing. Night Hollow is next. Let's see what a Night Hollow hat. Or, I generally do legs, because those are, they pop up earlier in the search. Here, we'll show you this search window too. Night Hollow legs. Those are too expensive. They're not super expensive, but they are too expensive for now. That's like a last call if we actually start running out of stuff. Outlaw hat. So see how like legs pops up near the top usually. Outlaw is too expensive, although it's not too bad. Oh, there's only one for 6K that's way sold under. Most of them go for 40K. So I'm gonna stop dragging that over, just because it's gonna get annoying to drag it over every time. But now you can see what it's basically like. Next is Palatine hat. Of course, we're gonna search Palatine legs. Ooh, that's only 8K. 4K to 8K. We'll keep it on one of the potential things because we do need 9 total. Pit Damon. That might not be too bad. Although, is there... a hole, or is it just the hat? Did I spell it right? I think that's a special outfit, even though it's not in the special section. It should probably be a signature. What? I think these are new. All right. Psijic Order. That would actually be cool. I have 2 Psijic characters. Can we not get it on the market? I guess not. DSIJIC. I spelled it right, but it's not showing up. Or maybe it doesn't say Psijic Order hat. It just like says Psijic legs. Yeah, there we go. That's too expensive. It's like 14K for the cheapest one. Firewatch. I don't know. This one might be low because it's from a newer dungeon, which means low market saturation, but also low drops. Yeah, it's kind of high still. Redoran hat. This one's probably low. It all depends on the drop rates. Because it's from an old zone, which means there's probably a bunch of it. But it looks like drop rates are okay. Oh, I don't want all of these. I don't need Firewatch. Don't need Sigic. I forgot to uncheck the box that opens new ones. Alright. We are going to keep this one, so we'll leave the box checked for one more. Refabricated hat. This one's probably going to be pretty high because it's a it's a trials drop. Yeah, that's too expensive. Sapir cat. I don't know how this one's going to be. It all depends on how many people run that content. Oh, that's pretty cheap. It's not super cheap, but it's a it's a potential. All right. Scale Caller. This is probably going to be expensive just because it's one of the harder dungeons. It's also, I think, a DLC dungeon. Yeah, that's way too expensive. Next is Scribes of Mora. I don't know. This is new content maybe? Or just something I've never done before? Oh yeah, that's expensive. It's like 100k for each one. The Sea Giant. Okay. I don't know if what this one is gonna be like. It's not too bad, I don't think. Yeah, this is the cheapest so far of all the current ones. It might even be cheap enough to go with, but normally most of the ones we were going with were like 1k or less. So let's see if we can find another 1k. This is like 2k. Shardborn. There we go. Shardborn is 1 and 1.5k. We're gonna do these ones for now. Alright, so let's start with the Shardborn helmets. Cold Harbor. Alright. I do like Cold Harbor. I don't think I have a house there. I know I don't have the house there. So we're going to go back to the Way Shrine. One of the tips for this game that a lot of people don't know is if you go to the Way Shrine, then you save the gold. Hollow City. Now, sometimes you're so far away from a Way Shrine that it's better just to spend the gold to teleport directly to it, especially if you don't have the cooldown. So we're looking for Spicy Life. There's Spicy Life. Alright. So first we're going to go and see, do you have Shardborn helmets? You don't. It has been sold. It's from 19 hours ago, so I'm not surprised. We will scan all listings. Hopefully there aren't as many listings on this as there are on the other one. 30 pages was a lot, but I feel like that's probably going to be average for any high volume trading store, trading faction. And most of these, if they're showing up on Tamriel Trade Center, are probably high volume trading stores, because it means one of two things. Either a player that posts stuff on there did the scan, or a player that went to search it did the scan, which means if someone was searching that guild, they probably already went there looking for something like we're doing now, you know? It's one of those things where it's easier to get your stuff scanned if your stuff has already been scanned. I really do want to figure out the add-on issues I'm having. Okay, only 18 pages on this one. That's not bad. Alright, let's go. Next, Telvanni Peninsula 1 hour ago, but I don't have that area yet. What else we got? Reaper's March, Vindusk Village. I have Reaper's March, but I don't know if I have the Vindusk Village Way Shrine. Yes, I do. Alright. It's just one trader out here by himself. Tamriel Traders Exchange. 11 hours ago. You have the thing I'm looking for, bro? I need some helmets. No, you don't have it. Alright. Well, we'll scan your listings all the same. And this is precisely why I put this shit off for like 3 years. Running around trying to find these crafting motifs at a relatively reasonable price that isn't gonna bankrupt me is the worst grind I've ever done in this game. And it's expensive as hell too. When I started going for Master Crafter, I had like 3 million gold. Now I'm down to less than 1 million gold. Now, part of that is I accepted a few expensive crafting writs. And then after I opened them, I was like, oh shit. I should have been paying attention to which master crafting writs I was doing. And then I had to like spend some money for the mats to finish those writs. Or I had to like buy a style that I didn't have. And I was like, oh, okay. That one hurt the pocketbook. But now, trying to find these cheap style pages, it's just kind of rough, you know? You know, maybe I don't even do this on stream. Just, I want to get at least one page. We'll do one page. And then we'll call it a night. I'm pretty sure the next one will have it. Northern Elsewhere Rimmon. We can just go... It's perfect. We can... So, if you look right now, if I were to go to the Way Shrine, it would cost 116 gold. And there's actually a cooldown where it will go almost up to 1,000 gold. Which is as much as we're trying to spend on these. Although this one looks like it's going to be a little bit more. But because we have a house there, we can just teleport to our house for free. I've bought most of the cheap houses in the game just for the free teleports. Because even though the cheap houses cost like less than 20k, it's like once you teleport it to it 20 times, basically, it's paid for itself. Not to mention, you can always just end up storing extra stuff there. See? Oh, I actually have a closer house. I have 2 houses here, and I didn't even see the closer one. Because I completed the quest in this area. That's alright. Alright. So, it is at Imperial Trade Union. Right here, right next to us. Perfect. So, we'll go and search it. There it is. They made mails arrive a lot faster. Oh, wait. Yeah, we'll do that after. We'll do the search afterwards. They made mails arrive a lot faster than they used to. There we go. We got it. Learn it. And then we go over here. And what I like to do to make sure... Early on, I bought some motifs of stuff that I actually had. So now that we're doing Shardborn, I do a search, and then I can go through, and I'll check the chests before I buy it, and the legs. I don't think I'm going to have any of these, because I've never heard of this style before. But yeah, we don't have any of these. So we got to do it for each one of these to get our Master Crafter. And we do that for 9 different styles. So that's going to be a slug that's not exactly great content, but now you guys at least know what you got to do to finish the Master Crafter. I feel like this is probably the last thing that everyone does for Master Crafter, because it's the worst part of it. The rest of the stuff's easy to get. So I'm actually just going to finish this off stream. For once in a blue moon, I don't feel like raiding out. I'm too tired to throw you guys at someone. So I'm just going to call it a night. I will be live again tomorrow, or later today now, I guess, for most of the world, doing my just chatting mental health stream. But until then, have a wonderful night. Take care of each other. Peace.